Prabhavati and Vijay, are you able to hear me well? Is my voice audible? Khadija, Prabhavati and Vijay, are you able to hear me well? Is my voice audible? Great. Welcome to the class. Let's begin with it. First of all, we are going to do a case study followed by business English. Fine. So let's deal with the case study. Alright. So this case study is on communication challenges. I have already taught you that chapter, so I just thought of covering a case study on this as well. Okay. So please pay heed to the board. There are several challenges in communication that takes place in daily life, right? If we identify the challenge, we can eliminate and ensure better understanding among the individuals. Whatever barriers are there in communication, whether it's from the side of the recipient or the person who is speaking, speaker or recipient, if it can be dissolved, okay, we can understand it, we can eliminate it owing to the better understanding, right, of the receiver and when it comes to the communicator, like the sender, his purpose also would be sorted out in that case, right? Ken worked, okay. We shall take a case study on communication that helps in averting any misunderstanding among the people. Now, Ken worked in the research department for a year as a researcher. Fine, and he was laid off. Laid off means he was being fired, as the entire department was closed due to recession. So he used to work as a researcher and he was being fired. It's because the department in which he used to work, okay, that was being closed due to recession. Fine. He decided to meet the CEO for the possible outplacement, as the organization has several other departments to accommodate him. So what he was being fired, okay, because owing to the recession, okay, because the whole department was being closed, okay, the department was being closed, so he actually wanted to switch off to another department, okay, because company has got so many departments. So he wanted to meet the CEO so that he can switch over to the next department. Yeah, very good evening, Sandeep and Kelvin. Today we are doing a case study on communication challenges followed by business English. Okay. So I've just started. Okay. So what is happening is let me tell you what is happening in this case study. There is a guy with the name Ken. Okay, he has been working from past 1 year as a researcher in some company. Now, due to recession, the department in which he used to work, that has been closed. So he was being laid off. Okay, now he wants to meet the CEO of the company so that he can be transferred or he can be absorbed in another department so that he doesn't lose his job. Fine. However, the secretary of the CEO, Dinah, did not permit Ken to meet by saying that CEO was busy. But Dinah, who is the secretary of CEO, it's not like you can just meet the MD of any company like that. You have to take appointment, or either you have to ask the secretary whether he is free or not, and then only you can meet, right? So secretary, whose name is Dinah, she's not willing to allow him. She doesn't allow him, okay, to meet the CEO, saying that he is busy. Ken returned without meeting the CEO. He got better employment opportunity elsewhere and joined. Okay, so he actually wanted to continue with the same company, but this Dinah, who was the secretary of the MD, she didn't allow this guy to meet the CEO, and later on he got job opportunity somewhere else, so he joined that. Fine. Ken, being the researcher, wrote an article for an international journal while working in the research department. It was published after 9 months and received complimentary copies from the publishers. Therefore, Ken wanted to share the successful publication with his former CEO and went off to meet Is my voice okay? So see, Ken was working as a researcher, so his journal was being published. Okay, so he wanted to give that to the CEO of the previous company. So he actually he goes to him to meet him again. Okay, and to give the book as complimentary copy. The complimentary copy which he has got from the publisher, he wants to give that to the CEO of the earlier company. Below was the conversation Ken had with the secretary of the CEO, that is Dinah. She earlier didn't allow him to meet the CEO when he was looking for a job in the same company, okay, in some other department. Okay, Ken, I would appreciate if you could arrange an appointment with the CEO. I want. Secretary uninterrupted. When did you come? We had already handed over your resume to Jim for outplacement. You may go now. So she is like, secretary is being very rude. Without listening to him, what he is here for, she is just saying that, okay, we can outplace you. She is still thinking that he has came here for job. So she is saying that we have given your resume to Jim for outplacement, okay, and you just go now. This is not the proper way of talking. She should have listened to this guy first before speaking like this, right? Ken, I didn't come for employment opportunity. Don't assume that people would come here only for appointment. So she was being rude. Earlier also she didn't allow him to meet, and here like now also she is very rude, right? So he also got rude and he said it's not like people are only going to come here for employment. Okay, I have come to give the complimentary copy where my article featured in international journal. The CEO would be glad to share the success. Secretary, no. The CEO sees everything and knows everything, as every article publication is known to him. So she is denying, she actually doesn't want him to meet it. So she is saying, she is giving name excuse that whatever is being published, he knows about everything, which could be true or which could not be true, right? It's not like if he is the CEO, he will read each and every article published in international publications, right? Ken, it is not a departmental journal. It is a prestigious journal globally, and I want to inform him and give the book. Fine. Secretary, you will not get appointment. The CEO is busy, said firmly. So she is again, this lady Dinah. She is like being very, very rude. Okay. I anticipated that CEO would be busy, and I have already written the details of my name over the complimentary copy. So he said, see, I have written my name on the copy of this book, and I know he must be the secretary. Okay, leave it and go. She says him politely and started looking here and there. Okay, Ken handed over the complimentary copy to secretary. Ken, fine, please hand it over to CEO. I am leaving the place. However, I will send an email to CEO about my coming physically to give the book. Secretary, probably worried as the Ken has already mentally prepared to send the email and keep the CEO informed. If the secretary has any intention to skip handling over the complimentary copy, CEO will know, as Ken would send email. So it might be possible that she might not give it to CEO. So Ken is also, a bit cunning. He's saying, I will tell CEO through email that I have came here to give him personally this copy, hard copy. Okay, Ken handed over the complimentary copy to secretary and departed the office. He sent an email to his ex-CEO about his coming, and he could not meet as latter was busy with his schedules. Okay, so he might have written the email. After 5 hours, the secretary telephoned Ken and said firmly, CEO told to return the book to you. You come and take that book back. So she is calling this guy and she is saying that CEO doesn't want to take that book. You take it away from me. Okay, he has asked me to return it to you. Ken replied. Just a second, please. Okay. Now, Ken replied, it is the complimentary copy meant for CEO only. So now when Dinah is asking this guy to take it back, Ken said, no, this is a complimentary copy and this is for CEO only. Secretary insisted to take back the book immediately. Ken told secretary to courier, and he was about to give his address. Secretary interrupted Ken's conversation and replied, no, we don't send through courier. You have to come back and take it. Ken responded politely, right now I am far away from that place. When I'll come to that area, I would take the book. So it's like Ken said that, okay, if you don't want to send it to me through courier, I am far away and I'm going to take it when I'll come to that area. Okay. The very next day, Ken received email from his ex-CEO congratulating Ken for publication and thanks for coming all the way to give the book. Ken felt excited that his ex-CEO was pleased with publication. Okay. So see, she was lying all through, this lady Dinah, right? Otherwise, why CEO mailed him? about this, right? Yeah. So, yeah, very good evening, Darshana. We are doing a case study on communications, okay? And after this, we are going to do business English. So now, I would request you all to read it right since beginning to get a clear understanding of this, okay? First of all, you have to read it from there till success or him, okay? So just start reading it, please. Darshana, Sandeep, Kelvin, Khadija, and Prabha. Please read by on your own as well. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And once you're done, just let me know. Once you're done with it, just let me know, please. Done? Is everyone done with the same? I guess Darshana is done. How about others? Should I scroll it down? Okay, great. Now you have to read from Ken till last, that is publication. So come on, start reading from Ken till publication. Are you done with it? Okay, great, 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 great. Now you have to answer these questions. What were the communication challenges in the above case study? Okay, was the secretary right in avoiding the Ken who came all the way from long distance to give the complimentary copy? Was it right for secretary in insisting to come and take the complimentary copy back physically instead of couriering? Was secretary a good listener? Did secretary empathize with Ken, and what are the other challenges which prevented smooth communication between Ken and secretary? You have to answer these questions. So please do it. Please answer these questions. Yeah, you have to answer. Hi Fatima, how are you? I would like to share some more details about this case study, okay, and then you can answer the question. So let me share it here, okay. So please pay heed to the board, okay. See, actions to take. It requires a lot of clarity and persuasion in communicating in such situations, right? You need a lot of patience. See, when someone is not good to you and behaving as the secretary was behaving with Ken, it becomes, it needs, a lot of patience to handle such kind of person, right? People need to break their preconceived notions and mindset, right? They should suspend their judgment that prevents from listening. See, if you are not a good listener, you can never be a good speaker. So that a secretary in this case study needs to learn. They need to open up their minds and heart for effective listening and better communication. And if you really want to be a good listener, you have to, keep your prejudices aside when speaking to someone, right? Yes. In such a situation, the Ken should have waited for some time till the secretary gets freed mentally to communicate. Inner dialogue or inner conservation that takes place among all the human beings is often the culprit of communication. The secretary has a lot of inner conversation, that prevents from listening. Sandwich feedback is essential to communicate and correct and exit smoothly from such a situation. The secretary has excessive ego, right? That would have resulted into a conflict had Ken not exited smoothly after getting instructions to leave the place. So see, Ken was right at its place, right? But the secretary, she had a lot of ego, and if he also had been a egoistic individual, then things would have been different. He would have started, a fight might have broke out there, right? Takeaways. At times, those who work with the higher officials try to create rift because of their excessive egoism, right? Here, the secretary, she's trying to create, space between Ken and this CEO, right? Which may arise out of their accessibility to higher officials or miscommunication or the inability to empathize, understand, and appreciate others. See, the problem is with her attitude. She is excessive. She is having excessive ego. She doesn't understand others. She doesn't want to appreciate them, and that's why she is prohibiting Ken to meet she's not allowing this guy Ken to meet the CEO. Sometimes preconceived notions prevent communication, right? When the reality goes against their preconceived notions, people start defending and stop observing the cues of other body language because of high ego. There are barriers and filters that prevent smooth communication, right? Barriers are physical in nature, such as external disturbance and distractions that prevent listening. Similarly, filters are psychological in nature, okay, that takes place. So see, if I am biased about something, I will never absorb it, right? In a conversation which becomes noise while listening. So just don't, when you are listening to someone, keep your mind open, okay? Yes, keep your mind open, okay? Preconceived notion, even if you have it, just keep it aside, right? Being perceived, okay. In this context, the secretary had filters, rather barriers that prevented effective communication. And at times, metal kettle that stores and serves tea is hotter than tea itself. That means a few secretaries, they think too bigger of themselves rather than their bosses. They think they are even bigger than their bosses, right? They become too big for their shoes, right? This is what this Diana was doing here, right? Right, everyone? She actually is having more ego than a CEO. Now, you can continue answering the question. Now you can answer your question. Yes, Prabha, you are right. Sandwich feedback. I'll come to it, Prabha. Just answer these questions. We'll come back to it. Don't worry. Okay? I'll come to it. I'll share that with you. So just finish these questions, everyone out there, and then we are going to switch over to the other things. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay. Okay, fine, that's enough. I'm going to check your answers. In the meanwhile, let others finish their answers as well. Then we are going to continue with this. We are going to continue with the next thing. So everyone, I'm giving you 5 more minutes. Just finish this, and then we're going to switch over to the next thing. Till then, Prabha, you'll have to wait. Don't worry, you have 4 more minutes. Just do the answers. Try to solve it at your own pace. Don't be in a hurry. All right. Uh, that's it. Time is over. Let's switch back to English. Okay. So I'm going to put the document here itself on the board. Just wait for a while. It is going to be there on the board in a few seconds. Okay. So let us do some idioms. Okay. English idioms. Are you able to see the board properly? Prabha, Khadija, Sandeep, Darshana, Fatima, Kelvin, Mohammed, Rajai, and Vijay. All right, great, great going. Be on the ball. What does that mean? If you are on the ball, you are aware of what is happening and you are able to deal with things quickly and intelligently. Okay, so if you are on a ball, that means you know what is going on, what is going on around you, and you have the capability to deal with the situation appropriately and intelligently. Okay, so you are intelligent enough to deal with the situation. You can deal with it intelligently. Fine. We need someone. So nowadays, they are looking for someone, especially, like when it comes to job, who can be on the ball all the time, right? We need someone who is really on the ball to head the fundraising campaign. Is it clear? What does it mean when we say be on the ball in terms of idioms? Yes or no? Please let me know in the chat box. Now, beat one's brains out. If someone beats their brain out, they try very hard to understand something or solve something. Sometimes, when a puzzle becomes an ego issue, if someone is saying, then we actually beat our brains out, right? We beat our brains out to solve that if it becomes an ego issue. My grandmother beats her brain out every evening trying to do the crossword puzzle in the newspaper. And many people do that, Sudoku. Many people beat their brain out when they are solving Sudoku, right? It beats me. This expression is used to express surprise at something that you find difficult to understand. It beats me how he can live in that horrible apartment. So if something beats you, that means it surprises you. Okay? Surprise at something that you find difficult to understand. Fine? It really beats me how she can do so much work. Okay? And that too in such a less pay. It's beyond me. To say it's beyond me means that it's impossible for you to understand. It's beyond me. That means it's impossible. Why Mary wants to marry John? Okay, so it's beyond me to understand mathematics. Can you make one sentence? Can you frame one sentence on it, on this idiom? It's beyond me. Yeah, everyone needs to do that. Please do it. Everyone needs to frame one sentence each. It's beyond me. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, see, blind you with signs. Really, Sandeep? Or it's just a kind of sentence? Okay, okay, great. Blind you with science. If someone tries to blind you with science, they confuse you with their knowledge by using difficult or technical words. So, often people, in order to, pull you down, what they do, they use a very technical language, right? High class vocabulary. So they try to blind you with science. If someone tries to blind you with science, they confuse you with their knowledge by using difficult or technical words. When you ask them for a simple explanation, he blinds you with science. And if a teacher blinds you with science, she can never be a good teacher. He or she can never be a good teacher. Okay? If someone tries to blind you with science, right? A good teacher never tries to blind you with science. I never do that. I am not saying that I am a good teacher, but yeah, I never try to blind you with science. Fine? Okay. Now, I wasn't born yesterday. This expression is used to indicate that you are not foolish or as easily deceived as some people seems to think. So, I was not born yesterday means you cannot fool me easily. Stop inventing silly excuses. I wasn't born yesterday. Fine. I wasn't born yesterday means don't try to fool me. I am also experienced. You just cannot fool me like this. I'm not that idiot. Fine. Is it clear? Prabha, Khadija, Sandeep, Darshana, Fatima, Kelvin, Mohammed, Vijay, and Rafiq. Alright, great. Now, brains behind something. Something who is the brains behind a project or action, he is the person thought to. So, the mastermind of something is brains behind something. Okay. The police have arrested a man believed to be the brains behind the bank robbery. Okay. So, if someone is the brain behind something, they are the mastermind of that specific thing. Okay. Now, choose one idiom out of 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 mentioned here and write one paragraph on the same title. Which see, you need not to use it. The title should you need not to use. You just have to use it. The conclusion of your paragraph should be either of the 6 idioms given here, whichever one you are choosing. You don't have to use that. The gist point of your paragraph should be, like for example, if I have to write a paragraph on I wasn't born yesterday, so I'll write one short story that there was a girl and she used to think that I'm a fool, but and one day she was trying to cheat me over something and this and that, but I wasn't born yesterday, so I was also experienced, so she was not able to succeed, something of that kind. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear? Prabha, Khadija, Sandeep, Darshana, Fatima, Kelvin, Sabir and Rafiq and Vijay and Mohammed. So just write it down, one paragraph. The gist point of your paragraph should be either of the 6 idiom, whichever one you are choosing. So come on, start writing it now. You can start writing it now, please. Yeah. Yeah. No, no, you have to write one paragraph. You have to write one paragraph. Don't make sentences, please. Sabir. Don't make sentences. You have to write one paragraph, and the gist point of the paragraph should be either of the 6 idioms, whichever one you are choosing. Okay, okay. Prabhavati has already finished it, and few others have already finished it. Okay, great, great. Very good. Now, let's proceed ahead. Can't make head or tail of. If you can't make head or tail of something, you can't understand it at all. Okay? If I cannot make head or tail of something, then I cannot understand it at all. Amy's message was so confusing. I couldn't make head or tail of it. Fine? Put on your thinking cap. What does that mean? If you are putting on your thinking cap, if you tell someone to put their thinking cap, you ask them to find an idea to solve something by thinking about it. So often, if you, sometimes, what happens is this: if you are a brainy person in your office, they often ask you to, put the thinking cap so that you can come to the conclusion about a particular problem, right? Now here is this week's quiz. It's time to put your thinking caps on. You should keep your thinking caps on. Put your thinking caps at the time of examination, right? To gain good marks, to get good marks. Chinese arithmetic, what is that? If something is very complicated or difficult to understand, it is said to be Chinese arithmetic. When he tried to explain the rules of game to me, it was like China. If I say this class is like what you are teaching now is like a Chinese arithmetic to me, that means it's very difficult for me to understand it. So what all things you find as Chinese arithmetic? I find mathematics as Chinese arithmetic. How about you people? So there must be something specific which you might be finding as Chinese arithmetic. What is that? Okay, Khadija is also afraid of mathematics. How about others? How about others? Sabir doesn't understand, okay, Arabic, theory subject, Sandeep, okay, economics, alright, alright. Not have a clue. If you don't have a clue about something, you don't know anything about it, okay. So my wife's grandmother maiden name, I don't have a clue. If you don't have a clue about something, that means she doesn't know anything at all about it, fine. Collect one's thought. If you collect your thoughts, you try to think calmly and clearly in order to prepare yourself mentally for something. So collecting your thought means you are thinking about something not in a rash manner but calmly and clearly so that you can prepare yourself mentally for that thing. Annie stopped to collect her thoughts before calling back the customer. Okay? Come to grips with. If you come to grips with a problem or situation, you start to understand or deal with it properly. Okay. After the initial shock, the patient began to come to grips with his disability. Okay. Come to your senses. If you come to your senses, you start to think clearly and behave sensibly. She finally came to her senses and realized that public transport was faster than driving in the city. So if you come back to senses, before your examinations, then you are likely to get good marks, right? And if something is an act of God, that is a natural thing. You are not controlling it. You are not responsible for it, such as natural calamity, earthquake, lightning, like acts of nature. Fine? Clear, everyone? Okay. Now, what we are going to do now, let's do some reading. Okay. Okay. So this is the passage you have to read. Okay. I hope we haven't done it earlier. So you have to read this. First of all, you have to read from you till sat. Smaller. How to make it smaller? Wait. Is it okay now? Yeah. So just start reading it. First of all, you have to read from does till sat here. Okay. Who is scrolling it down? Don't do that, please. Okay, read it till request. Here. Come on, start reading it. Okay. Okay, that's great. And today you are reading about it. Isn't it great? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Just read it properly because after that you have to solve the exercise as well. So I'm going to keep myself silent till the time you people are reading so that you don't get disturbed. Okay. Cooking oil, trans fat oil. What kind of oil you use? No, it depends on the type of oil you use, Darshana and Prabha. You know, some people use sapola, some use olive oil. It's up to you. Nowadays, most of the people they go for this olive oil, right? Omega 3 is, uh, okay. In omega 3 is a, increase. Omega 3 is a good fat, right? Omega 3 fatty acid. That is a good fat. That is considered as a good fat. Okay, okay. Okay. No, we actually use this normal mustard oil. We don't like the taste of this olive oil, so we don't use that. Yeah, yeah. But that is a bit costly as well. So that's why, people might, exempt themselves from using that. Is everyone done with the same? I don't know, but most of the doctors even suggest us to use that. Okay, now you can read from most fat till athlete. Okay, okay. Is everyone done with it? Okay, so we are going to solve the questions in the next class. Okay. Now, do you have any questions for me? Anyone out there? Based on whatever I have taught today? Yeah, sandwich feedback. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I remember. See, what does that suggest? What does that sandwich word suggest? Okay. See, when it comes to giving, like giving critical feedback to someone in order to change behavior is a delicate process. It is very important to assure that you approach the task with sensitivity to the person's feeling to avoid common problem of a very defensive reaction. Okay, so if it's done properly, however, the recipient will take the feedback positively and good results will follow naturally. One very effective way to do this is sandwich, the coaching inside other positive statements. Okay, so if what is sandwich feedback exactly? I'll just show it to you. It's a actually kind of technique. Okay. So for this, you can see this video, and I'm going to teach you about. Wait. Yeah. Wait. Just see this video, please. Just see this video, please, and then we'll come to it. Just watch this, please. Okay. So tomorrow I'm going to explain it to you in brief itself. Okay, the types of feedback. Okay, and it will the sandwich feedback will be included in that itself. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to teach you the sandwich feedback in brief about the various types of feedback, and sandwich feedback would be one out of those. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Don't forget to fill the feedback form. See you tomorrow, and I would request you to be on time. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much.